Hi guys, it's Angie and welcome back to my Flosstube channel. This is my channel about cross stitch. That's it, cross stitching. I did so much stitching this weekend or last week and during the weekend, but it was only on one project. So I delayed filming because I knew I was going to do a little bit of work on another project. And I was so close to finishing one that I finished a project. So I wanted to wait so I could show you all of that, you know, have more content than just one project update. So I have a few things to update you on, and then I think my next Flosstube will actually be my whip parade to give you my stats for the year. Even though I only started filming in May, I have been tracking and doing a lot of stats for myself somewhat. Not as in-depth I think as some other stitchers, but I've been keeping some stats and since January. So I do have a good year-end whip parade that I'd like to share. So I think that's what I don't foresee doing much stitching for the rest of this year. I'm gonna probably do whatever homework I get, if any, from Magical Stitches, as it's the last week of the year. I don't, you know, right after Christmas, leading up to New Year's, I don't know if Magical Stitches is really gonna do anything. This week, we only had to stitch 200 stitches on a project for our homework, which is great because then it's really low key. I really don't foresee doing a lot more. Right now, I'm kind of totaling out my projects, so we'll see. First, I had a new start, and it is almost a finish. I probably have about 100 stitches left. I'm wondering if I have something to hold up behind it, because you're gonna see right through it. First off, I'm using, I think it's 28 count witchelt fabric. It's one of the ones that I got from my Fabric of the Month club when I was doing that through Fat Quarter Shop. I'm not super fond of it. The fabric itself is really stiff, but the weave is really loose. And so my stitches in some areas look fantastic. And then in some other areas, like the border, they're really sloppy. And it doesn't matter how many times I undid and then restitched them, it just, they're not great. So it kind of reinforces my decision to quit the Stitch of the Month for the fabric. I'm sure it's, I mean, it's not terrible fabric. It's very pretty. I just don't like the way it stitches with the way I stitch. So anyway, this is the Marion Minty Stitch Along. This was from With Thy Needle and Thread. It was a freebie that was posted through Facebook in 4 parts, and I have almost finished it. So I started this 2 days ago, and hold on. I don't have, maybe this will work. Isn't that nice? I am so prepared, and I'm dropping things and making a mess. Mary and Minty, the Mary and Minty style. So I have a few more snowflakes to do around here. I have to do a little detailing. I haven't done any of the back stitching. I have this much over here, and then I just have to do the leaves, a couple more things. So I probably have about 100 to 200 stitches left. So this was a start. This was so that I had to do 1,000 stitches on a project with Santa, and then 1,000 stitches for a project dealing with the North Pole for Semi-Sane Stitchers. And I squeaked out just over 2,000 stitches for this. I was a little bit worried that I wouldn't actually be able to get 2,000 stitches out of this project, but thankfully I did. Plus I had to frog and restitch a little bit. And I accidentally did 1 stitch too many, so Santa is 1 stitch too many fat. It doesn't create a problem or anything, so. Anyway, I'll give you a little bit of a close-up. I think that the stitches on Santa, Rudolph, and the tree are fairly nice, but in this candy cane border, oh, they're terrible. They just don't lay well, and I don't know. Anyway, so that was my new start and almost finished. And if I find myself wanting to, which I'm sure I will. I will try to finish this before the end of the year so that I can not have to fall back on it next year. I put today just about 200 stitches on Sasquatch, mainly worked in this blue area here. I love my tree, but I don't think Sasquatch loves my tree. So here we are with Sasquatch. And I only needed to get about another 100 stitches in so that I could cross off my Arctic animal, because I did all of this up in here and already for that this month. I didn't get to check that box because I was 100 short of 1,000 stitches. So that has been finished. So not a whole lot of work done there. Now this one is probably, well, I mean, it's not my biggest difference, but it's pretty big. Because I was so, actually it might not be pretty big, because I remember I showed this to you last week and I had already worked on her face, but I worked some more on Dark Queen of the Sea, and I've started on her hair. I was hoping I'd finish her hair this week, but it is, I mean, it's not complicated, but there's a lot of, you have to pay attention. So I chose to go ahead and do the blue hair for her. But then when I started stitching, I got all of this dark stuff done down here, and I was gonna fill in with the blue colors when I realized I was working off the wrong pattern. I was working off the purple pattern. So these are actually a really deep, deep blue. For the blue hair, they're supposed to be black. And then I had started stitching some purples and I kept thinking, wow, this is really purple for the blue version. I had to unpick all the purple, and I decided that I wasn't gonna unpick all of this and change it to black because this dark blue works just fine. And so instead of adding the black there, I'm just doing the deep navy blue, and then it just gets lighter and lighter as we get up here. So I wanna say I added about 450 stitches, I think, since you last saw her, which is not too shabby. So I will probably work on her some more. I'd like to get her hair finished so that I'm really trying to stay caught up with this Sal. And her hair, there's a lot of hair left. And so this is kind of a hefty stitch portion, whereas last week, because the face and the hair, that's a lot. Whereas when we just did the bodice and the arms, it didn't feel like it was as much. But this hair is, it's got some, there's a lot of effort. So I will, if I find myself needing some stitchy time, I think this is the project I will continue to work on. So there's Dark Queen. But the reason I didn't finish Dark Queen was because I was working on one other project that needed to get done, and it is fully finished. And I wish I could have found a better frame, but thankfully I adjusted this pattern, because if I hadn't, there would probably be another 2 inches on this, and I would have had to get a specialty frame, and I didn't want to get a specialty frame. But I finished. If you're watching, Tim, you won't see this before Christmas, so I finished. Isn't it so awesome? I am so excited. He knows he's getting something. He knows it's a cross stitch something, and he knows, I think he even, well, he might have seen this, which is a dead giveaway for which game it is, but I don't think he's seen the major parts of it. So what I ended up doing is, see, the last time you saw it, I think we had all the names, but we didn't have a lot of this. I ended up having to unstitch this and move it up a little bit because it was just a little bit too close to this. So I adjusted that. I may have already had all of these on here the last time you saw it, but I might not have. I don't remember. I need to go through the last video I did this on so I can put up a before photo, because I did put a lot in. These were not done, and then I moved the last 4 names over here. So these were supposed to go directly under here. So I'm glad, because I had a frame that works with this. And then of course, there's this. Now on the bottom, on the pattern, it has along here a bunch of swear words, and we're not swearing people. I mean, so I just didn't put them on there. But for the most part, the words were super easy. There's a few different fonts on this, but they were all easy to stitch. I would say the border was probably my most tedious and obnoxious part, because each border, each of these is five squares wide, and it's 100% stitching because it goes black, white, red, white, black. And and that's there, there, and there. So when I had to do challenges that were like, hey, stitch 300 stitches in black, that's what I would pull this out for. And then down here, that's 4, or is it 5? So it's black, white, red, 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 white, black, solid. So anyway, this is gonna be fun. I think this is gonna get hung up in our room where he tends to play most of his games. And next year they are re-releasing all of these games, but they're remastered for ultra high def, I think, or 4K. And I think if the ad that I saw said that it was being remastered with some surprises. And so I think we're gonna pick it up and maybe start playing it again together. I don't play on this one. I watch. I don't wanna say I'm not a gamer. I definitely enjoy a good Nintendo game. Mostly I stick to Lego games, Mario games. I have enjoyed Animal Crossing New Horizons. I do Sims sometimes, and Cities and Skylines on the computer, which is fun. I love Borderlands, and I play Borderlands. And while my husband was deployed, we would meet online and have a Borderlands. We'd team up and go fight. So I do enjoy that. This particular game, I'm that person that if somebody's chasing me, I get, don't chase me, don't chase me. For some reason in Borderlands that doesn't bug me. But I've tried playing Fallout with my husband, and I'm terrible, so I don't. And I tried playing the newer versions of Tomb Raider that have been released, and they're hard, and I'm not good. So most of the time my husband plays and I watch, and then just kind of tell him, let's go do this or let's go do that. And it's just a fun way for us to do something that he really enjoys and that I'm just okay at together. So anyway, that is my stitchy progress this week. I feel like my earlier videos were so much longer. Maybe it's because I was talking too much, but I did decide, or I wanted to just kind of do a couple little things. I'm not gonna like walk around my house and show you my decorations, but I thought I'd show you a couple because many of my decorations I actually made myself. And that is, if you remember, sorry, I'm gonna take you down here. I had said that I cross stitch and dabble in other things. So, ooh, sorry, I'm gonna flip this camera around. So I dabble in woodworking, and so the penguin is one that I made. And then those are, I call those my sitters. They're shelf sitters. So I made the tree and the ornament. And then this is a nativity puzzle. I made a lot of these for a craft fair. And so all of the pieces are the nativity. And then when Christmas is over, you put them all together in the stable as a puzzle, and they get put away. And that was so much fun. So my daughter helped me paint them all. And then I sold, oh gosh, I sold about 13 of them at a craft fair because it was awesome. I've got my nutcrackers because I love nutcrackers. And then I also enjoy doing the wooden block letters. So I made the snow. And then there's my cross stitch that I made the Santa's Secret. And then sometimes I made the angel tree thing behind Santa there. That's another one I made on Photoshop. And then I made that, and Santa letters, and the candy cane. And then I've got my nativity collection up here. This one was given to me this year. That is a German tower. I bought that in Germany, and it is of a nativity on the inside. It never actually spun. I'm not sure why. And then we have the Kokeshi, Mary and Joseph back there. That was from Japan. And then this one was given to me by my best friend in Japan. And then I've got my Jack tree all lit up. So that is my fun Christmas. And then I didn't like hand make the ornaments, but I bought a lot of the little mini Funko Pops, and I kept getting multiples as I was collecting them. And so what I would do is I put this in there and created ornaments, and I just put, and then those are the Oreo candy canes. And then I bought the tree skirt, which is a Nightmare Before Christmas tree skirt. Got that at Hot Topic, which is my favorite place to get Nightmare stuff. And that's my tree. So anyway, that's just a little bit of my decor. Nothing fancy. Nothing, I'm not, oh, and my ironing board, because I was putting my husband's gift together. I am so not an interior designer, but I do like to make crafts, and those ones that I showed you, I very much love those. I get requests from family members to make them, things like that, and I think they all have them now, and so nobody's asked me for any this year. Which is probably good because I can't pull out my woodworking tools right now. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. And again, like I said, I'm probably not going to do a lot of stitching. If anything, I'll probably finish Dark Queen, and I think that might be the last thing that I do before the end of the year. So my next video will probably come around the same time next week. It'll definitely be before New Year's. And it will just be mainly a whip parade, which is super fun. And it will probably be a bit longer than what my last few videos have been. Anyway, that's it. I am signing off pretty much for the holidays. So, from my family to yours, happy holidays.